And as economies grapple with slowing productivity, supply chain uncertainty, and rising energy demand, businesses are looking beyond the AI hype for technologies that deliver measurable returns. Industrial AI is emerging as the next phase of digital transformation, turning operational data into real business value. As companies move from pilots to enterprise-wide deployment, experts say industrial AI will become the proving ground for AI at scale, driving the next wave of productivity and economic growth. And our next guest believes the biggest AI opportunities now lies in industrial operations. We've got John Markus Lervik, founder of Cognite, here joining us in the studio. John, thanks so much for joining us here. Appreciate your time. So at Cognite, you guys focus on industrial AI, so companies in sectors such as energy, chemicals, with the goal of using the technology to make operations more efficient and safer. So here in Asia, what markets and what sectors offer the biggest opportunity and are more inclined to adopt these types of technologies?
No, I think, first of all, as you said, there's a number of mega trends going on at the moment. Of course, you have the geopolitics, which is driving also challenges both in supply chain, but also the need to do more reshoring, to move industrial plants back into each country, each region. And then on top of that, we obviously have the energy crisis, climate crisis coming in, plus AI. And AI is both, of course, a user of energy and hopefully a part of the solution to increase efficiency for how we use energy. So we see this coming across a lot of different industries, obviously in the energy sector itself, so oil and gas, upstream, downstream, but also utility, as well as going into life sciences, pharma, food and beverage. So it really applies across all different types of industrial companies.
I see. And when you talk about AI, of course, it has transformed office work, right? It can write reports, it can create PowerPoint presentations, but a lot of the people who work in industrial AI, more blue-collared and don't work at desks. And so how is AI changing manual labor?
Yeah, sure. So today, most companies apply AI to, basically to solve point solutions. They do pilots, they do demos, but that doesn't really scale across plants, across the value chain. So what we see, the way to really drive change is that you need to be able to model the industrial value chain, whether it's supply chain, production, maintenance, reliability, through data. So you need to contextualize data through the whole value chain, so you can apply AI across to scale it across plants and across the value, the full asset, value chain.
Yeah, and with that though, with data synergy, more connectiveness can also open these systems to cyber attacks, for example. And we've recently seen AI kind of go haywire. We've got agentic AI that can do whatever it wants. So how do you then convince these very important industries, very critical industries, to get on board with this technology?
Yes, it's both security and also reliability or trust. It's two sides of the same coin in many ways. You need to be trustworthy so you can trust AI. And secondly, you need to make sure your AI is secure, so your data is secured. And the way to do this is basically to, of course, apply AI in the region, so sovereign AI, but also combine that with, again, grounding the AI in the customer's, industrial company's own data. So don't use AI as a chatbot to get answers from the open AI internet, if you will, but basically ground AI in your own data, in your own contextualized industrial data.
Yeah, so keep it within, I guess, your company's systems.
Yeah.
How much of a factor is hallucinations now? Because AI as a feature, it still makes mistakes. It can make things up, even if it's not connected to the internet, for example. And with industrial AI, one mistake can mean a major safety issue, or multi-million-dollar liability. So what do you do about that?
Again, it's back to you have to ground AI in your own contextualized data. So many people, they just jump onto as I said, AI pilots instead of first solving the industrial data problem. So if you're able to contextualize your own data from different systems, from your sensor systems, from your maintenance systems, from your ERP systems into one unified structure, then you're able to apply AI to that grounded data, and then you have zero hallucinations.
I see. That would be very important indeed for them. If we look at the broader landscape now with AI, a lot of investors, they're worried over the spending that's happening with hyperscalers. But for you, are there parts of the AI ecosystem that you think is getting overhyped?
No, I'm sure there are certain areas, but I think people maybe have too high expectations of the return you can get over the next few months. But I think in the coming years, we are underestimating the value we're getting out of it. And I think what's special with AI compared to most other technology changes over the years is things are happening so quickly. So you have to act now, otherwise you'll be behind.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier not just to use AI as a chatbot, and that's mostly how many people, even some businesses, use it. What is the opportunity? Where are the opportunities of AI beyond chatbots?
I mean, it's basically to automate all of these industrial workflows that today are done manually. They take weeks, months, maybe even years. They can be done in minutes, hours now. So you can basically automate a lot of the mundane, repetitive work and do that automatically or autonomously. And secondly, you can also apply AI with robots and start to do also physical work, for example, in insecure or unsafe areas. There can be gases, there can be noise, there can be many other kinds of things. You can use robots instead of humans to do the work. So you also improve safety in addition to profitability.
Yeah. And what skills do you think is most needed in this age?
I think it's a lot about attitude, actually. It's about leaning in and embracing the opportunity. It's much more that than really necessarily you don't need to be a data scientist. You don't need to be a computer programmer. You really need to have the right attitude and have industrial domain expertise.
Yeah, really appreciate it. That's John Markus Lervik, their founder at Cognite.